You breathe every day. But have you ever breathed with your soul? Ibn Arabi taught that every breath is not just air. It is a mirror of your state with God. Your inhale can be remembrance, your exhale, surrender, and the space between, a meeting point with the divine. This isn't just Sufism. This is sacred survival. Because when your world is collapsing, sometimes healing doesn't start with words, but with one conscious breath. Stay with me. By the end of this journey, you'll know how to breathe not just to survive, but to awaken. Ibn Arabi did not see breath as biology. He saw it as revelation. He believed every soul is born between two breaths, the breath of God when he said be, and the breath you take in this very moment. To him, nafas was not just oxygen, it was divine movement, a rhythm flowing from the source to the body, connecting the invisible to the visible. He wrote, "Creation is the breath of the merciful. Everything you see, touch, or think is unfolding within a single divine exhale. So your breath isn't just yours, it's participation in the breath of being itself. When you're angry, breath shortens. When you grieve, it gets heavy. When you're peaceful, it softens." Ibn Arabi saw this as a spiritual language, your soul expressing its nearness or distance from the real. That's why he taught that awareness of breath is the doorway to divine presence, not by controlling it, but by witnessing it. Breath, he said, is the veil and the key. So today, we won't yet try to change how we breathe. We'll simply begin to watch. Because to return to God, you must first return to the breath he placed inside you. The breath doesn't lie. It reflects what your words can't say, what your thoughts try to hide. Ibn Arabi wrote that the breath is like a mirror. It reveals the unseen world of the soul through the seen rhythm of the body. He believed your spiritual state is carved into the way you breathe. Not just when you meditate, but when you argue, cry, walk, or sit in silence. If you're distracted, your breath becomes shallow. If you're anxious, it speeds up. And when your heart is anchored in presence, it lengthens, deepens, softens. This, Ibn Arabi said, is not random. It is the body echoing the soul's remembrance or its forgetfulness. He taught that every breath is a witness, either witnessing your turning toward the real or away from it. So don't just watch your breath. Listen to what it says. Is it rushing? Is it heavy? Is it trying to run from something or return to something? Your breath is not just survival, it is testimony. And in each one, you are either forgetting God or remembering Him without knowing. There is a moment when you're alone, tired, uncertain, and you suddenly stop and just breathe. That's not weakness. That's the doorway. Ibn Arabi believed that revelation doesn't always come as visions or voices. It begins in attention, and attention begins with the breath. To him, the breath is the first rope that pulls the soul back into presence. When you become aware of your breath, you become aware that you exist. And when you truly feel your existence, you begin to feel the one who sustains it. That is why the Sufis don't rush through breathing. They dwell in it. They linger in the space between inhale and exhale, as if listening for a whisper from beyond the veil. Ibn Arabi wrote, "In each breath there is creation, death, and resurrection." He meant that every breath is a chance to be made new, to die to the noise and return to the real. So the next time life feels overwhelming, don't speak. Just breathe, not to escape, but to enter, because the breath doesn't take you away from reality, it takes you into it. What if your healing was not something you had to find, but something already breathing inside you? Ibn Arabi taught that the body is not a prison for the soul, but a temple, and the breath is its sacred chant. Each inhale nourishes the body, each exhale releases what no longer belongs. But beyond that biology, he saw a deeper truth. Breath is the bridge where spirit and flesh meet. He wrote, "The real flows through your being as breath," meaning, when you breathe without awareness, you walk asleep. But when you become conscious of breath, you wake up into presence, into divine intimacy. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Do not curse the wind, for it is from the mercy of God." Ibn Arabi expanded this. If the wind is mercy in the world, what is breath in your chest? Mercy isn't always a miracle. Sometimes it's just the fact that you are still breathing when you thought you couldn't anymore. So stop waiting for a sign. Your breath is the sign, a sacred proof that God is still near and your healing is already underway. You don't need a rosary to remember God. You don't even need words. You have something more ancient, your breath. Ibn Arabi taught that remembrance, dhikr, is not just repetition. It's returning again and again to what was never absent. He wrote, "The real is closer than your breath, but you must turn inward to hear him." The breath, he said, becomes dhikr when it is held with presence, not controlled, just witnessed. When your breath flows through you and you know that it flows from the real, you are no longer alone. In that moment, every inhale says, "He is," and every exhale says, "I am his." Not as words, but as state. This is what the mystics call silent worship, a prayer of being. The breath becomes a rhythm where body, soul, and spirit remember each other. So try this. Don't say anything. Just be with your breath as if it were the whisper of the beloved, because maybe it is. You've understood the breath. You've witnessed it. Now, breathe with intention. This isn't ordinary breathwork. It's a sacred practice drawn from what Ibn Arabi called the rhythm of the real within the self. Here's the ritual, not mechanical, but mystical. Find a quiet space, turn off the lights or light a candle. Sit upright but relaxed, as if the sky were holding your spine. Close your eyes and begin with awareness, not effort. 1. Inhale through your nose for 4 slow counts. As you breathe in, whisper inwardly, Yahweh, O ever living. Feel life entering not just your lungs, but your soul. 2. Hold the breath gently for 4 counts. Don't force it. Use this space to listen within. Ibn Arabi said, "In stillness, the voice of the real is heard." 3. Exhale softly through your mouth for 6 counts. As you breathe out, say, Ya Latif, O subtle one. Imagine releasing heaviness from your heart. 4. Pause after the exhale for 2 counts. In that silence, dwell in presence. Let it become your home. Repeat this cycle for at least 7 rounds. Let the breath carry you, not to sleep, but to wakefulness. As you continue, don't aim to achieve, just be. Let each breath become prayer, each stillness a sanctuary. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The breath is the point where divine intention touches creation." So breathe not just to calm, but to commune. This is not technique. This is remembrance. This is healing. This is you returning. If this breath awakens something in you, a silence, a longing, a return, then stay with us. Subscribe to Heart's Whisper, where every video is a step inward and every whisper is a reminder that you were never alone. because the journey to God is not in the noise, but in the stillness between two breaths.